What's up, everybody? Welcome to MyDunnLife. This is where I take you on my adventures on 2 wheels or 4. Today's going to be a talking head video. We're sitting here on the Deadman Dyna. The weather, unfortunately, is not very conducive to riding, at least for me. So I wanted to talk about Harley Davidson, since I, own a Harley Davidson. 3 major motorcycles that have made the news recently that I've wanted to talk about. First up, we're going to talk about the Livewire. The Livewire was Harley Davidson's attempt at an electric motorcycle. Now, while I say, I want to say that it is a very cool bike, and every reviewer that has put their weight in gold has said the bike handles great. It gets up from 0 to 60 and really 0 to 100 pretty damn quick. It's an absolute blast to ride. Exactly the kind of thing Harley Davidson should be known for, but ultimately being $30,000, only having barely 100 miles really of range, and its charging options were just too limited. Dealers were spending $100,000 to even be able to sell the Livewire. Frankly, if I was a businessman, I think I would have passed on that. But I don't know what the deal is between Harley. Maybe that some of them had to. But honestly, I think if Harley Davidson had sat down with Tesla and got their, quick charging system along with, a standard 110 charger, man, can you imagine riding a Livewire across the country, hitting the charging stations? Man, if it had 300 or 400 miles between the charge, and then you could charge it up in, 30 minutes, like 80%. Can you imagine how much fun that bike would be? And I think that's where they made the mistake. Now they're killing the Livewire, but Harley Davidson's basically spinning off the Livewire into another brand. It's been a little talk about how or why they may be doing this. I think, to be honest, I agree with some of the others that this is probably more of a PR move. They don't want to show this as a failure on Harley Davidson. And ultimately, like I said, it was a too expensive bike. When most of your other competitors were offering bikes with similar range for about half the money. And frankly, the performance wasn't worth twice the money. With that said, leave your comments down below. Next up, I'm going to talk about the the Revival bike. So it was a Ultra Classic, I think it was. It was basically a retro version of what was a 1969, even though I kind of think it looks a little more like a 1970 motorcycle. It has a 2-tone paint job. It has a blue tank with white bags and a white fairing. It's not a bad looking bike. The blue is really, really nice. If you've not seen the bike up close, like I said, the blue, I really like the blue, and the white is really that 50s, 60s kind of a not quite cream but not quite white color. It's not as bad. It's just like I would have liked to see more blue on that bike, and maybe have white as more of an accent color than full panels being painted that white, because honestly, white is never a good color for a bike. But my thing is that it's $8,000 to $10,000 more than a stock one, and all it really is just a fancy seat and a fancy paint job. There's really not much more that's real special about the bike, besides the fact that it's limited to 1,500. If you have a 1969 that looks just like it, that's the guy that's going to want. He might want that new version, so he's got the set. But to be honest, and I talked to somebody at one of the guys at the dealer, and even he said, he's like, it's going to be a trophy bike. It's going to be that bike a guy's going to buy. He's going to park in his garage, or park it in, that bachelor that parks the cool stuff in his house. Or it's going to be that bike that gets pulled out once or twice a season. It goes to a special big bike show to show off, and it's a bike that's really not going to have a lot of miles on it. Nobody's going to buy those bikes and put 10,000 plus miles a year. It's just not that kind of bike. It's cool for what it is. I think it's a little overpriced. I understand why Harley's doing those bikes, because Everyone keeps telling them, oh, go back to, go back to the way it used to be. They don't make them like they used to be. That newer bike, unfortunately, has all the electronics, all the gizmos, the nannies, and I think if they wanted to really, they should have made that a standard. So no radio, no nannies, no, probably would have had to leave ABS just for legal reasons. But other than that, leave the rest of the stuff off of it. Make it just a cool riding cruiser and not charge that much of a premium for that type of bike. It is what it is. Again, leave a comment in the links below. We're going to talk about the next bike. So Pan America. Pan America is all over the news. Love it, hate it, like it. It is what it is. It is Harley Davidson's jump into the adventure bikes. Here's the thing for me. I'm excited for the platform, the engine and the platform, more than I am excited for the bike. I've got to see both the Revival bike and the Pan America up close. I think the Pan America looks better up close than it does in video. It just doesn't. It's one of those kind of bikes, and there are certain cars that are this way. They just don't look very good in pictures or in video. But man, you get up and they got just the cool curves and the mechanicalness of it and all that. And I think it's a cool bike. It's not the kind of riding that I do. It's not the kind of money I would spend on a bike. Maybe in a few years, if those hit the used market pretty cheap, get around 10 grand, 12 grand, I might consider picking one up. But the thing is, I mean, they are absolutely a market that I think Harley Davidson can compete in. That motor makes great power, great torque. Everyone is reviewing it, says that it rides great, it handles absolutely phenomenal. And I think that's the R&D Harley Davidson needs to put in their motorcycles. They need to focus on braking and handling and power and weight. I think that's, you can still have classic look, but if you can drop 20 pounds out of the frame and still make it as strong or stronger, do it. Same thing with the motor. I mean, if you make more power, I am not against liquid cooled motors, even though I've had air cooled. Air cooled obviously is a little easier to work on and things like that for the guy like me that, that's cheap. It's essentially what it is. But I'd have no problem. I want to see that Pan America engine in a Sportster, in a true Sportster frame, like a true iron, what would be an Iron 83 or Iron 1200, put some mini apes on it and just make that thing at like 110 horsepower, just a little bit more than the Indian, and man, just let that thing eat. And I think it would be a great bike. I think it would be a whole lot of fun. Again, I think that's the direction Harley needs to go in. Now, when you get into your big and classic bikes, yeah, they want to stick around what they can for the air-cooled. But to be honest, if you think air-cooled is going to be forever, you're sadly mistaken, because emissions, these old air-cooled engines are not going to last, at least as far as new product is concerned. Maybe something revolutionary will come along and give a few more years of life out of these old designs, but it's really, in the end, it's liquid cooled is going to be here at one point or another. So like I said, I think the Pan America is a great bike. I think Harley Davidson did a big misstep on the reveal, the true reveal video. A lot of people said that Ian McGregor, I think I'm pronouncing this, I should be able to pronounce his name. The guy that took the 2 live wires on the long trip, they should have done that with the Pan America. Go across the country. Speaking of cross the country with a Pan America, I want to give a big shout out, and you'll probably see a bunch of these videos of me shouting her out. Whit Meza, if you've not seen her channel, I'll leave a link in the description below. Make sure you follow her channel. She's about to do 48 states in 10 days on a Pan America. She contacted Harley Davidson and got one of their test bikes that had like 200 miles on it. and she's about to take this thing across the country in 10 days, 48 states. I'm totally like cheering her on. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I don't think I could do it. I think last year she did 1,000 miles on an old Sporty like I had, and man, I can tell you after like 400 or 500 miles, I was beat. I was wore out. So for her to tackle that trip, and then have Harley Davidson jump in and give her a Pan America for that, and do a true Pan American trip, I think is great. So make sure you like and subscribe down below, both to me and Whitney. She's absolutely phenomenal. She's doing awesome things for the female motovlog community, or female riders in general. I love watching her content and just enjoy enjoy watching her adventures, and I can't wait to see what happens on her 10-day 48 state adventure. So again, thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe. I hope everybody has a great day, has a great week. Ride safe and ride often, and I'll catch you in the next video.